It's the Screw It Just Do It Manchester event tonight, following up on the recent roundtable. I'm hosting the panel of various entrepreneurs who want to scale up. Let's go and take a look.
Welcome you to Screw It Just Do It Manchester. So scale your startup with Virgin Atlantic. We've got Piers, Linney, who's going to be hosting this evening's event for us. Hands up, how many people have already got their own business? That's pretty much it.
So I get asked for advice in men's toilets, on the visitors' tables, when I'm asleep on trains. I wake up with a business plan and handwritten in front of me. And what surprised me, and what I found frustrating, is that even at startups, I kind of get it. You don't have a clue. When you're building a business, and I had a few stories here tonight about building a business, it's chaos. And you learn by your mistakes. And that's why serial entrepreneurs, they're much better to execute efficiently. They may get the business wrong, they may get the product market fit wrong at the end, but they won't fall over because they messed up their working capital or didn't register HMRC or something like that. So what I realized was that companies that have got some scale, so if you've got a customer, a product, revenues, employees, and they were still coming to me saying, Piers, what about this? And I was surprised that they didn't know the answer to some of these quite basic questions. So I went out on the internet and I did my research, as you do, and I sort of found that most of the advice out there for scale-ups and startups is motivation. I get up here today, I G you up, I have a few more gins, and I kind of shout to you and say, look, if you go vegan, avoid gluten, if you run a marathon, if you have a millionaire mindset, you're going to be a billionaire and you can buy an island. It doesn't work like that. It's about execution. And whether you're a startup or a scale-up, what we're going to talk about tonight is give you some advice, add some value to help you. As a company, what you need to focus on, if I'm going to grill people on tonight, is strategy. You need to have a plan. You need to have a destination. It will not be a direct flight, Virgin or not. It will be you might go via Iceland if you're going to New York. You might go via the Azores. You might land in New Jersey. We need a destination. That helps you make decisions, efficient decisions. You won't get distracted doing things. They'll help you, they'll move you forwards, even if it's slightly the wrong direction for A to B. Second one we'll talk about is people. You don't get the people right, you're doomed. And as an entrepreneur, beginning to build a business, hiring people is a pain and managing them is a pain, but business essentially is a group of people with a collective objective. That's to build that business, generate profit, grow a business. Get that wrong, you're doomed from the outset. Operations and execution. So yes, you might have a plan, but it's about how you operate, how you execute. And as your business starts to mature, and I've heard it tonight already, you need to add in the boring stuff, processes, policies, systems. You need to build a cookie-cutter machine. You put money in, a product comes out with great customer service and happy customers. You know what I'm adding recently? Technology. Automate everything. You have cloud technology, software, be it accounting, be it CRM, sales management, anything. Use it, automate everything. Try and turn as many fixed costs in a business into variable costs as you possibly can. That's what minimizes risk. As your revenues fluctuate, your costs do the same. You're not stuck with a fixed cost in there. And the big one I'm sure we might touch upon is finance. So already tonight, the people behind me, I've heard stories about we're growing and the revenue's growing, the orders are coming in, they're on 90-day terms. I've got 30-day terms with our suppliers. I've got a 60-day working capital gap, I need to fund it. How do you do that? And the good news is for entrepreneurs, the money is out there. When you sort of start stage, what's the biggest problem anyone you bumped into?
I guess cash is an obvious one, and you said that. I mean, in the early days, having to sort of scramble around on payday pretty much every month to make sure we had the money to pay people who were working for us. So I think we probably all shared that. But actually, one of the big ones for us probably was credibility. So we set out to be the #1 UK confectionery brand, and that was our goal from day one. So we didn't want to just sell one bag of sweets to our local corner shop or farm shop or market. We wanted to go out there and knock Haribo off their perch at Tesco. So actually going, first of all, convincing suppliers that they should make our product. 2 young guys with no track record, half an idea, and no money to go and make a huge quantity of sweets and turn the machines off and turn it back on for us was tough. And then actually going and knocking on the doors at the likes of Tesco and trying to say to these people who are, they definitely don't have enough time to speak to Haribo, never mind us. So actually to go in and try and get them to listen to us was pretty hard work. We went and spoke to as many manufacturers as we possibly could, and eventually ended up with one that would say yes. We then made the product, we kind of kept things going. The whole time in the background for us, we were building our brand. So when Jamie and I said we started in 2012, we had no sweets at all until 2014. Persistency, constantly going back to Tesco, knocking on the door again and again and again. And really from day one had the mindset of knowing how hard it was going to be. We didn't kid ourselves to think, as we speak to a lot of people now, particularly within food and drink that have started their own businesses and, how do I do that? What do I? And they sort of talk, the problem is they're not answering my calls or they're not getting back to me. And you just think, just wake up, get in the real world. Do you really think these people give a shit about what you've got to say? And having that attitude from day one, it might be quite negative, but actually allowed us to be positively persistent.
The big chains, they do want innovation, they do want new brands, they want authentic stories, but still, you have to get through the noise, don't you? Which is some big hard work.
The way I've built my business so far, which is quite exciting, is that I've never had a social media strategy or anything. I haven't actually posted anything on Instagram since March, which is terrible. Part of the strategy for next year. But I think I've just gone to every single event, spoken to every single person. I speak to people on trains, I speak to people on buses, I just talk to everyone. Even cab drivers, I give cab drivers 10% and they come down and shop and buy their Christmas gifts from me. So I think word of mouth is really important and making those contacts. So I was also awarded, Walpole is brilliant. If any of you want to get involved with an amazing industry body, Walpole is fantastic. So I was Brand of Tomorrow in 2015 and you get access to any CEO, any person in any luxury industry or any company. The door is open. I call it the luxury mafia, so it's definitely one to note to get involved in or look up. So that's how I found it much easier because I haven't had so many closed doors because I've just been very lucky to have a lot of contacts from spreading my word. So I lost the last tranche of my investment. A friend then invested which went really badly wrong. I've now paid her back. I've also paid the other investor back, so I now have 100% of my company and I'm just about going to go into the second round again with another angel investor.
And you paid it back because it was debt or the equity?
No, we did. We cut a deal. We cut a deal because I put in so much work. We had the company 50-50 each. So I paid him back the rent deposit, and on a handshake, it's nothing legal. I've said to him that when I sell out to Estee Lauder for 20-25 million, 10 years, I will pay that money back. But there is nothing in writing, and it was a graceful sort of exit, really. But we're still great friends.
So don't do that. So I'm a lawyer by training, and it's really hard because what happens is you start a business, and it all happens so quickly, it's chaos. People help you, you do a deal, give you 25%. If you're starting a business, anyone doing this, what I'm talking about, is structure your documentation very, very carefully. If you give friends, family, employees, equity, whatever it might be, make sure if they leave, you can take it off. How are you finding moving away from that real passion you're an artisan to manufacturing?
Well, I've helped set up the factory, and the chap that I set the factory up with, he produced the components for the White Company, Diptyque, Joe Malone, so he's got huge factories in the Far East. And I've helped him set up a little factory. They can produce 4,000 units a day. It's, we can really pump stuff out. But he almost bought my business 10 years ago, and we've kept in touch, and he really wanted to utilise some of the space. So I've been really fortunate that I have somebody supporting me. He's not investing in my business, but he's investing in me and what I can bring to his business. So I'm in a very, very fortunate position.
So have you all got mentors of some sort? Has anyone not got a mentor of some sort? Even if it's a family friend or you have family?
Yeah, I have several. So I have one of my mentors actually bought Diptyque in Space and K and set up the Manzanita Group, which also owned by Radio. So I speak to her every Wednesday, and also the ex-buyer from Harrods and Liberty Beauty Department. So I connect with her once a week, and they have been integral. They're not investors in my business, they are completely integral to my growth, and they always get me to answer my questions. I never ask them what to do. They will ask me questions, and I will have to work it out for myself. And I'll either get thumbs up or thumbs down, and then they'll guide me. So it's so crucial to have mentors. Get them wherever you can.
Right, let's talk to people. You've gone pretty quickly. You're obviously very passionate about Pops and Paul. So the big issue we hear about tonight when I came in and talked to people is people.
Yes.
So how on earth do you instill your obvious passion for your business in the employees you want to bring in?
Culture. Oh my gosh! And I had a wonderful walk around with Innocent, and I had a big problem. I've got a good warehouse that's got about 12 staff in it, and I've got an office that's got about 7 or 8 staff in it. And I said to them, I'm having a real disconnect here between the culture in my office, with some phenomenal values, and everyone gets it and they understand it. They talk to my customers in the same way I would. And then I've got the warehouse who just don't get it. And Innocent said it to me very simply, you split it down the middle. You do not try and instill those values in the warehouse. And the warehouse is an operational model. They pick and pack, they do their stuff, and the personality of the business, the office of the business, that's where the culture is. And so that's what Innocent have done with their business as well. So they won't instill those values in the
So
team.
the warehouse is a bit more about getting the job done properly, on time, safety, that kind of thing.
That's it, because we are a creative, exciting business, and you do not want warehouse staff to be creative.
So your family set up a separate legal entity, separate business?
Yeah, we launched Paxton US Inc. In May 2017, following our FDA clearance.
So where are you in your development then, in terms of, you hear about this, sort of where people are here? You're slightly different, you had a family business, I guess you had family capital. How have you transitioned?
Yeah, so a family business originally, obviously after my mum, and had a family business which helped support that financially. We then got VC investment, which was, well, my dad was running the business in around 2001, so as I said, it's been going for some time. I joined the business in around 2009, 2010, and to be honest, it was pretty stagnant. They were just doing UK business really, very focused on funding from the charitable sector as opposed to the NHS direct. So there's a real need to see actually the business had so much opportunity, both financially, but more importantly, what it can do for patients. It is the most traumatic and feared side effect of chemotherapy treatment itself. So I was, well, still I'm young, very passionate, and it was a great opportunity for me to get involved. The VC were happy that I was getting involved, I had lots of ideas, and really our growth came from export. And then we plateaued again at about £2 million, and it sort of seemed to go that way for maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years, until we got FDA clearance, and that's where we started, or where we have started to see that growth. So 80% last year. We did an IPO on First North Nasdaq, which is a Swedish small cap market. So we raised a few £1 million just to really invest in the business and take it to that next level.
Why did you go there? It's the obvious
So the link relates back to our original VC investment. They were Swedish. So they are board, and it's back to having mentors and people who can really help you and guide you. They had experience on the First North Nasdaq small cap market. To do it in London is a far more expensive way. We would lose, and back to being a family business, more equity. So we lost 20%, well, not lost 20% equity, I don't see it losing, but we sold 20% of the business to enhance it and expand really, which was the right move.
Yeah, I was approached last week by another angel investor, silent investor. She lives in Nicaragua. She knows that I have a really strong team of mentors and I don't need any guidance. She doesn't want to work in the shop. So that's
She's investing
last
in
week.
you?
She's investing in both. She knows me very well, actually.
So what you'll find when you're looking for investment, we move along to Richard, to your product. So what you'll find is it's like a concentric ring. So it's your own capital, if you've got any, it's your family, friends, parents. You move out to angels, professional angels, venture capital, and it keeps going like that. That's typically how it works. And the closer you are to the middle, people tend to be, and your business is investing in you, not really the business. Because the business they end up investing or being shareholder in can look very different to the one they started off with. So your business is like that. You funded it through, you've got venture capital now. How have you found that?
So it was
Explain what it is.
It was originally family investment, and then back in 2001 it was VC. So the link was we weren't looking for any VC funding back then. It was before I started work. The venture capitalists, so the organisation who was wanting to find new investments, had seen our company while doing their due diligence, tried to put 2 companies together, both doing the same thing. There are only 2 scalpel manufacturers in the world, and unfortunately that wasn't something my father wanted to do at the time. So they actually invested in our business. They took, I think, 30% stake at the time. It allowed my dad to release some capital. My mum was very unwell at the time also. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. It took a lot longer. There were certain clauses in that where the VC could take more equity if they put more money in, so that's what happened. And then they technically nearly owned 50% of the business. So we managed to keep control as the family business, and the relationship continued. Normally there's a much faster exit. I would expect a VC wanting to exit within 5 years, but 15 years later. One of the things that we had to do recently was raise some funds for the US. So we managed to fund the clinical trials, which cost us about $2 million, but actually to set up the infrastructure in the US and develop the business was going to take substantial funds. So again, we could look at private equity or further VC, but it was just something that we didn't feel 100% comfortable with. And so one of the attractive options for us at the time was to do an IPO, so initial public offering. So we actually did that, as I said, in Sweden. So for 20% of the business, we managed to raise a few £1 million, which has allowed us to then invest into the US market. Although the US market is still incredibly cash hungry, so we spent all that money within a year, and then we've gone and got debt financing, which we're showing and proving our track record. So one of the biggest cash drains in our business at the moment is the way I've changed the business model to actually generate further recurring revenues is actually we install capital equipment throughout the whole of the state. So in the last 12 months, we've installed 300 scalp coolers. These are medical devices, so expensive to build, in about 170 of the key cancers.
So you've changed your business model to have more recurring cash flow, so you can raise more debt on growth.
Yes.
You actually reverse engineer the business, make it manageable.
Indeed.
And can you continue?
So Ed and I started out with no money. We went to our parents and we asked them, they said, "You're setting up a sweet shop." No, we're not giving you any money. And we then needed to launch our brands. We launched our website, Candy Guinness. We had no sweets, we had nothing, so we thought we'll print some t-shirts saying "I'm Candy Kitten" on it. And we had a huge following on social media, and we launched it on the night the website crashed, and we found out we had sold 20,000 t-shirts, but we had no t-shirts. So we then had to go to a friend of ours called Nick Higgins, who then made the t-shirts for us, and that funded our first little bit. And we went from there, as you said, which is very true. You start your circle, you spread out, and that's exactly what we did. But what's so important is money is oxygen. It really is in business, and Ed and I made many mistakes. So we made mistakes that we've made so many in terms of, firstly, equity you can never get back. And we kind of made that mistake probably at the beginning a little bit in terms of a couple of friends. We made that mistake, we were young. And in terms of money, we looked for money when we needed it, which I think is the wrong time to do it. You want to look for money when you don't really need it because you're weak when you actually need it, and that's what happened to us. But we then went to crowdfunding, went to a platform called Cedars, which is out there, you can go check it out, and we were going to crowdfund, then we went against it because we had an investor who wanted to help us out, a friend of ours.
And you're still bootstrapping or external finance?
Bootstrapping really. Started off with redundancy money, then 2 startup loans from Virgin Startup. Because in the early days, we didn't want to give away equity cheaply. We wanted to know the true value of this business. That wasn't actually enough money that we got. So what we found we had to do was go to events pretty much every single weekend and get creative. So instead of paying money on marketing, we would go to consumer-facing events, we would sample our product, we would sell our product. That got brand awareness, it also brought in really essential cash. Because especially in the alcohol industry, you have to pay your duty up front. So the better you do with wholesale, the more orders you get, the bigger a drain it is on your cash flow.
We're still bootstrapping, really.
Really?
We had 500 quid to start with, and we put 11 grand in between two of us. And then just mortgage stuff.
So the Dragon's Den was...
Dragon's Den, it's not real money. Nick put in 70k. That just goes on stock. And I think I guess the question I asked myself the other day, has everyone heard of Proper Corn? Yeah. And have you heard of Joe and Seth?
Yeah.
It was just a premium popcorn. So you've got, and there's no right or wrong here, but you've got a decision to make. You've got Proper Corn, who has raised a lot of money and is going kind of all out. And then you've got Joe and Seth, which is a family-run business, which is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal business, incredibly profitable. And you've got to kind of ask yourself, do you want to go all out, or do you want to actually generate a really
That's about pace, isn't it?
And it's about the pace.
If you do all that, it's more risk.
And there's more risk. And I think everyone, at the moment, especially in the food world, everyone thinks they're going to be a multi-millionaire, and it is just not going to happen. Because crowdfunding, you do raise ridiculous valuations, and it's highly unlikely that people like Brewdog are actually worth $1 billion. Still don't get that. So we've kind of made a decision in our culture that we are not going to go all out. We want to keep it 100% owned. We want to share some of those shares with our staff and then kind of reward them for their loyalty and believing in us. And we don't pay huge money because we haven't got it. So reward them in the future. And then have that control and go at it a little slower than anyone else. But hopefully enjoy the ride a little bit more and not have to pander to VCs and run it.
So the reason crowdfunding works is because if you tell a good story and the public at large buy that story, they're buying your business in very small pieces. There's no consolidated, unionised negotiation almost. When you talk to a venture capital investor, there's a very experienced professional individual that's negotiating you directly. So in the crowd, you can get a better valuation. The issue is if you overcook the valuation, investors won't make any money if you're in a sell-out. It's quite interesting for you in terms of how do you fund your business? Because essentially, if not-for-profit, there isn't that kind of shareholder return you don't expect in a private sector business. How have you gone about it?
Yes.
Well, I can say donations, but it's not simple as that.
No, so it's the same as Nick. So we're 100% owned. We haven't given out any shares and investments because we can't. But we started through debt. So we got money from Virgin StartUp for 25,000. We used that to buy the first 2 coffee vans. And then between the 2nd and I'd say the 12th, 13th, it was all through traded income, using that money that we generated through selling coffee to then build up and keep buying more and more sites. And it's lucky because we're reinvesting 100% of the profits back into that capital expenditure and using that money to grow. So we weren't hungry to keep just giving out equity and just growing at a crazy pace. But we knew that we were investing our own money into our own growth, and that gives you a sense of security. And when you first start, it's incredibly difficult to get that initial funding. But when you've really proven the concept and you've shown it works, and you've shown that the brand has appeal, you've shown that your business is profitable, you then get people throwing money at you. I mean, we've just got a bank called Bearings who have funded maybe $500,000 as a grant to us just to open new coffee bars. And I think that kind of thing is just as a testament to the work that you've done over the past 3 or 4 years. So really have belief in not just going out trying to look for money, chasing a dream, but doing it through organic trade. And that way you actually fail at the same time, you learn your mistakes. There isn't an easy way out, just go and raise money and grow really quickly. You're learning your mistakes and what actually works, and you're growing at a pace that's steady.
My personal opinion is bootstrap or take your business and absolutely as far as you can go before you involve external finance or investors. Because it's a great thing to do, you should never be afraid of it. There's a nervousness in the UK about people sitting on your board telling you what to do. You don't have in the US, which is why we have fewer scale-ups here, because financing is a big part of it. Bootstrap as far as you can, and when you come to raise money, think very carefully. I did a post about this on my social media. Have a look at it about shareholder agreements and loan agreements. It's a negotiation, it's a contract, it's a document. There's no point raising 500 grand at a £50 million valuation. If you miss the target next year, ridiculous target, you gave them by £1, they can take shares off you, control the board, fire you, take the company off you or close it down. It's pointless, you're kidding yourself.
My top tip is get on with it. It's a really good one. Dig really deep, but just get on with it and max it out as far as you can until you don't feel you can go any further. And if you have any spare cash at all, invest in your IP and trademarking.
For me, I think it's be patient and don't give up. So it's been a long journey for our family, but I think finally now we're seeing the fruition of our hard work and efforts.
But know where your destination is, know what you're actually trying to achieve from the beginning. Don't get confused, because if you get confused, you'll get lost and your business will fail. Just know exactly where you're going from the beginning.
Dreaming big. So actually, like I said, we wanted to go and not carry a ball to the perch. And then actually, I think as you said earlier, telling everybody about it. So we're very bad because we're all sort of polite British people that we just like to keep all of our ideas inside and, I've got this thing, but I can't tell you just yet. Just tell everyone. If you have real belief in the idea, then you believe that you can do it better than anybody else anyway, so don't be scared people are going to steal it.
Be willing to change your plan and change direction rapidly to exploit opportunities that arise.
For your finances, I would say in order, you focus on cash flow, then gross margin, then turnover, and then net profit.
To actively seek out criticism. So within our group, we've got a couple of restaurants, and I always used to hear our waiters saying, "How was the meal?" And everyone would always say, "Oh, it's great," and it's not always great. And what I used to say to staff is, ask them, what one thing would you change about the meal, or what one thing would you change about the coffee? And you genuinely get amazing responses. And if you're actively looking for those criticisms, those negatives, and you actively then implement them, then I think that's how you really improve your product.
Yeah, one thing I think you'll recognise tonight from the panel here is, and it's absolutely key in terms of building brands these days, is authenticity. There's no one ounce of bullshit I can sense here at all. They all believe in what they're doing, their business, their brand, the people that work for them, and create something. And my advice is as I said earlier, it's not just about starting a company. Anyone can start a company. It's about how you grow a business. It's about scaling up.
Okay, so my name is Mirto, and I run a student accelerator at the University of Manchester. And the question is, which is more risky? Is it to take a loan or take equity investment if you do need to raise money?
You're starting a business now. You don't use debt. Now you may use debt from family and friends. So your parents might say, "Here's 50 grand, pay me back when you can." That's kind of debt in a way. But structured institutional contractual debt when you're starting a business is not always the best plan. The reasons for that are because equity, yes, you're giving up part of your company, you're giving up part of the upside, for the future in its entirety. But equity, you don't have to pay it back. They are sharing risk. Whereas debt's different. So debt needs to be repaid on a certain date. You typically won't borrow money over sort of 2 to 5 years, unless it's a mortgage, that's like maybe 10 plus. So that in 2 to 5 years, there's two issues. One is there's one in 2 to 5 years, which you have to pay the money back. And typically, unless your business is profitable, it's raising money, or you're raising equity just to pay back the debt, you're going to defeat the object, really. You've got an issue there. The bigger issue is, typically debt comes with something called interest. So interest is cash flow. When you're starting a company, we touched upon it earlier, cash is king. So the need, the requirement to repay debt and interest, it's even worse if you're amortizing the loan, so you're paying back the loan as well as the interest. You can't afford to do it. What that does is put a fixed cost into your P&L. And my point earlier with businesses today, with technology and the way things are structured, avoid fixed costs. Fixed costs are what introduce a huge amount of risk to a business. So debt's not the best idea of raising money for a startup, unless it's friendly debt, family and friends. Now, having said that, if starting loans company is slightly different. So if you, as someone said to me earlier, that my concentric rings a description of how you raise money. If in your middle ring, your family and friends, nobody has money, which is very common, what do you do? So if you can raise money from the startup loans company, which is a plug, that's slightly different because they will lend money to people who can't raise money typically from the market. If you can, they won't lend you the money. So it's a softer loan, but the good thing is they make you do the work. They make you go through a business plan, there's a process. If you've got bad credit, they can overlook that. So that's kind of if you don't raise that kind of money, you won't be starting a business. But typically, debt is for mature companies with assets and cash flow so they can service the debt.
What is one tool that you guys have used that has enabled you to find a mentor that's had the biggest impact on your journey so far?
The mentors, you have to find someone that big network. But with the mentor, it's not just about meeting somebody who likes what you're doing, have a process and a structure, agree as sort of how long you're going to be a mentor for, have a framework to work within. Otherwise, it's just airy-fairy, the odd phone call, what's the objective, structure it properly. Otherwise, you don't get a lot out of it. So I don't have a mentor for mentor's sake. And my advice is speak to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs will give you more valuable advice than anyone who thinks they're like you, who thinks, got grey hair, maybe I'll support you. Entrepreneurs have the answers typically.
Yes, so I've advised a few of my friends to go to a startup because even if you don't need the money, they've just applied for £500 just to get a mentor because the mentor relationship is so powerful and it is that structured relationship. They advise how many times to meet, what the process is, the boundaries, and they didn't really need the money, but they just got £500 and a mentor from the specific industry that they're focused on as well. So if it's in retail or tech, and they'll do all the work to find a relevant person that's really relevant.
My name is Ross from Here and Tell. We're a podcast agency, so we help brands and companies produce podcasts. My question's for Nick. And actually, it would also be good to get Jamie's opinion on this. And it's about social media and marketing, but mostly social media. There seems to be, across everyone here, a very different approach in social focus. I think some of you have got huge followings, like Jamie, some of you have got less followings, and like Rachel said, you haven't posted in such a long time. Now, starting a business, it can be so tempting to think that the best businesses out there are the ones that have got hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. But a lot of you, this is a criticism, a lot of you haven't actually got that, but equally you can maintain a strong business. So I guess my question is, how do you focus on the right part of the business without getting caught up in social media and thinking that you need a huge following?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question, because social media is a massive distraction. And so many brands worry about hitting the magical 100,000 followers on Instagram. We have 6,000 followers. We have a good engagement level, and when we post something, we get a good return for that. But we're not trying to wave a porky flag in the air and say, look at us. We're trying to deliver a really good product, and the word of mouth that comes from that then helps deliver growth and helps our brand awareness build through that. If I could wave a magic wand, I would come off social media tomorrow. But the fact is that for our business, it's very important, and the power of Facebook advertising is phenomenal. We can stick an advert out there, we can sell 1,000 advert calendars over the course of a week. So who are we to say that we need to come away from it? But I think my biggest learning is only say something if you've got something to say, and just don't worry about how many you've got, worry about who you've got and the interaction they have with you.
Yeah, I think that you can't deny that social media is just a big kind of impact on businesses and things like that. And I definitely agree with kind of saying, think about if you have something to say, say it. But also there's that point where everyone is looking for that viral kind of hit, that millionth view, and that's why you don't think it's successful if you have 1 million views overnight, which isn't true at all. If you make a video, you do content, you do a podcast, and you have one person listening to it, and then next week you have 2 people listening to it, firstly, that's double. Secondly, that's 2 people listening to your podcast. That's 2 people who know about your brand. It doesn't matter if it's 1 person or 100 people listening or watching or seeing what you're doing. It's still people engaging within you. So just focus on what you have, and it will build slowly. And again, just be persistent with things like that. That's what I think, for sure.
It's kind of a question for everybody. I know that you were talking about tech earlier, and you mentioned like a couple of applications that you use, like Slack and Zero.
Yep.
But what I was going to kind of ask is, anybody developing their own kind of technical assets within the companies, maybe to help operational procedures, anything like that? Like, what are you guys working on?
Yeah, we are the very boring kind of tools that we use to work with the data that we have. So in terms of the way we receive our orders and the way we then send that order to our warehouse and all that kind of stuff. So basically fancy spreadsheets, but a bit more developed than that. But we're not really developing any of our own tech. We want to, I think someone said earlier, outsource it if you can't do it yourself.
The point is the future is software driven. I don't care what you do. Software makes you more efficient, makes you more productive, better communication, better customer relationships, suppliers, the whole thing. That's the future. But when you're starting out, try and use off-the-shelf software that has the right APIs so they integrate. What I see a lot of entrepreneurs do is that, I like this software because I've always used it, and this, and this, and they can't piece them together, so you end up with a mess. And what you don't want is data in different places. Just try and use out of the box for as long as possible, but there come a point where to add real value you can't, and do not be afraid of investing in software.
My name is Kenan Dorman. I've got a company called Lamont Desserts, so we specialise in premium alcohol-infused ice cream, which is vegan. So my question's kind of for Nick initially, but I'd love Ed, Jamie's and his input on this. So we're going to be making everything artisan at the beginning to kind of grow our brand and get out there. But at what point, so Ed and Jamie, you said you outsourced immediately. But at what point did you kind of think, right, I need to outsource everything, or did you start making an artisan and then outsource? Or just want to understand your kind of your journey and your trail of thought.
When you start a passion project, you don't really have the kind of scalability in mind. But I am not a chef. Like, I just love eating pork scratching. So I just went onto Google and found a chef. Now, the great thing, when you first start a business, you want to find someone who's really little, really flexible, who just prioritises you. But, as probably you guys find out, as you scale, the last thing you want is someone who's really flexible. You want a really big machine that can churn out huge orders. So we're fortunate to find someone flexible in the beginning, but we very quickly had to move to someone who wasn't. It comes back to what Jamal saying, like, you focus on what you're really good at. I'm not a good chef, so therefore I focus on the brand side, and we outsource the cooking of it to someone who's got years of experience to do that. But always having in your back of your head how to scale it. You don't just want to be the best kind of, I don't know, brownie maker in the UK if you can't scale that product, because you're never going to make any money out of it. It's just going to be a really awesome hobby, but something that's going to cost you a lot of money.
Christmas is a month away, so everyone's buying gifts instead of traditional sort of retail. What's the best way to make use of this gifting season, apart from advent calendars? The two of you have done that.
A really quick one is that you should start selling 2019 now. Yeah. If you're not, you're already a little bit behind. And just start really, really small. An advent calendar needs a lot of tooling, a lot of expense. We started with jars, and we just filled a few jars that we bought from Homebase, put them on the high street, sold really well, and kept building from there. But don't copy what already exists. Like, it's very easily done. But if you're not sticking to your values and doing something really innovative, then I think you will come unstuck.
First tip, don't do advent calendars. No, just because we've done some this year, and like Nick says, it ties up a lot of expense in something that's super seasonal. So the moment they come off the production line, it's a ticking time bomb. You've got to sell them by the 1st of December. So on that note, if you're all going to Candy Kittens, we've got a lot left. So yeah, big learning. I mean, we're trying to get on that at the moment. For us, we want to get into that gifting space. Everybody buys a box of chocolate for every kind of occasion under the sun, but actually there's no equivalent in sugar confectionery sweets. But trying to make it not seasonal, I think, is the key. Sell something that can sell as a really nice gift, like Nick's jars, at Christmas, but it doesn't have Father Christmas or a reindeer or something on it that means that it's got that sell-by date.
My name is Jolene Francois, and I own Caribbean Magic. It's like a seasoning, Caribbean seasoning. My question is for Nick and Candy Kittens. What's the most important thing when you try to knock the supermarket doors? What the one single thing you should do or should not do?
So the most important thing for us, and we're talking to the supermarkets, is standing out from the crowd. And I sort of touched on it earlier, but everybody's trying to sell them something. If you're a buyer, your job is to be sold to. So actually, how do you stand out? And you know, from day one, we would go in, our samples would go in really nice branded boxes with a branded comp slip and branded tape and tissue paper and just the full works, trying to punch above our weight, basically, look much bigger than we were. So many times people send stuff to our office as gifts or samples, and it just comes in a crappy little envelope, it's all scruffy and looks rubbish. Just don't underestimate the presentation, I think, of how you can be perceived. Whether it's itself, the way you dress and turn up and sort of present yourself, or the way your products go in the mail. Just stand out from the crowd, do something different to grab their attention.
I think that's so true, because I think cutting corners is great at the beginning of a business, right? You want to try and find the cheapest way to do that and the cheapest way to do something else. But when it comes to presentation, things like that, I think you actually spend an extra £100 and you actually look for the best, because its presentation is everything. Remember, the product that you're sending in is your CV, and how do you get your CV to the top of the pile? You have to do something different. So don't follow logic, go against the grain.
And thing to add is, for me, is don't go and see them too early. When I started Snapping Pig, I had 3 channels in mind: grocery, gifting, and on-trade. So grocery is supermarkets, gifting is selling jars, advent calendars to John Lewis Debenhams, and on-trade is to pubs. And so I wanted to build a business that was based on selling it to pubs and John Lewis, and then go to Debenhams, go to Tesco's and say, we've already got rate of sale that's X, we're already on Facebook with 13,000 followers, and we're already doing this. And so do you want to be part of it? Rather than launching a business, going straight in, and then if you're fortunate enough to win them, so much of your business will be at risk, because if they pull the plug, which they very likely could do if your rate of sale is not very good, your entire business is going to go under. So you never want to rely on a grocer. Like it's a lovely icing on the cake, but make sure you've got a really solid foundation of tens, if not thousands, of other businesses you can rely on.
Yeah. So I think we're in Sainsbury's, Ocado, Waitrose, and the biggest challenge that you might have is not getting listed in the first place, but actually when you're listed, the activation, the sales, people keep on buying off the shelves. And that's the buyer's biggest worry. If they list you, what's going to happen post-listing? Can you get marketing? Can you get the product sold? Can you get people attracted to the store? So if you think not about selling your product just to get in, because that's just a start, if you think about what's your activation, how are you going to convince the buyer that's going to sell, I think the next step ahead, that's what's going to impress them, as opposed to just, let's just sell, buy from us, it's how exciting it is. Think about what their worries are and present your product to fix their worries.
Going on to Jamal's point there is marketing. If you want to sell, whether you want to be the end of an aisle or they expect you to market, you don't just stick in the shop and people come and buy it. If you want to be at eye level or at the end of aisle, like I said, it costs you money. They want you to be on the side of the bus, wiring in the store as well.
Ted from Memorial Digital. Just moving on to strategy. Obviously, you all run businesses that I imagine change quite a lot. And as you mentioned before, like you have to implement, standard operating procedures to make sure things are done properly. When it comes to planning, how much is what's the right balance there? So how much is too much and how much is too little? So do you look at like monthly plans, quarterly, yearly, and what are the sort of key metrics you look at to ensure your business is growing and on the right path?
So it's a balance. So the first thing is to have a plan. Now, there's the old adage, no plan survives contact with the enemy. So prepare to change, prepare to pivot. But the point I made when we first started tonight was have a plan, an objective, and a destination. If you've got a plan, it means that you can make more informed decisions that move you forwards in the right direction. However, in any young company, you're absolutely prepared to change. And what I would do typically is have your, no point, I always say, don't have a 3-year plan. Investor might ask you for it, but you've got no idea. I'm an ex-banker, there's a formula called garbage in equals garbage out. So avoid that. To have a 3-year plan in terms of objectives, up to where you want to go, but have a real sort of tight annual plan. And every month, go through, people don't do this surprisingly, go through where you thought you were going to be and where you are. Even if you don't want to look at it because it's bad news. And then, what that makes you do, this is why you need a board and governance. Now people that sit there with you, do this with you, is go through where you are, where you should have been, or where you're going, and then adjust the plan. And then every quarter maybe, have a process where you reforecast, either for better or for worse, and keep running it forwards like that. And that just helps you.
Having a board really helped me because when you're running a business and you're in the depths of it and you're working hard all the time, sometimes you do lose sight a little bit of that sort of forward thinking. I feel that having a board has allowed me to sort of sit back a little bit, make sure I am reporting quarterly, revising where we're at, understanding a little bit more about why things aren't happening as well as they should or as quick as they should. But yeah, more of a 12-month thing for myself, setting those real targets and objectives, and then reviewing definitely on a quarterly basis. And I always think it's really important that you're communicating it with your team as well. I feel that I'm not always as good at that, but more and more I've started to spend more time in sharing that vision and those targets with the team, so everyone can understand what they need to do to actually bring the business forward as well.
Right, final question.
Well, I've spent the first 5 years not being able to talk about my product because I was going down the IP route. So it's been hard because you just can't say what you're doing. But I've eventually got a worldwide patent, so we did that in October this year, and everything. But it was such a big expense. Like I've remortgaged, I've literally done everything. I'm 50, so it's pretty scary because you're kind of thinking of retirement at this age, and now I've literally used my pension and everything for this. So I'm at the stage now where it's a modular shoe system, so it's going to be a track or a gliding mechanism in a shoe. So you'll purchase the base, and then you're going to purchase the accessories. But so it's not only for aesthetic, it's also I've got a godchild who has a clubfoot, and on her wedding day, I was just like, she should not be able to have beautiful shoes. So that's where it started from. So there's so many avenues that I can go with this. I can do the medical side, I can go against Jimmy too. But the problem at the moment is I'm going to be pitching for angel investors and that. And you come across as a crazy scientist because it's aesthetically great, I'm saving the planet, I've got like all of that. But we don't actually have a product because I'm at the testing stage where we're doing prototyping that. But it's so expensive, so we really need someone to come on board now. But when it comes to the figures, and you guys are saying so what's your gross profit, and that we don't have that yet because we don't physically have a product in our hand to sell. So my question is, which was my major question was, when you're looking at investment, do you look at the personality and how they sell it to you, or is it really a lot on the figures?
When it's an invention, you have the 4 corners of the box. This is the product, because if you step outside of that, you fall outside the pattern and the protection. So you sort of have what you have. What you need to find now, this is something I'm sure you've heard, is product market fit. Now, some people have done this where they spend all their life saving, remortgage their house to protect a product nobody wants. And I hope you haven't done that, really, you've done some research. So it's about the research. What is your path? And at least if you have millions of pounds, you could go different fronts and see where you keep pushing and see where you broke through. We haven't, I guess. So the point is, you need to come up with a plan that this product, the best product market fit, is here. Now, is it consumer? Now, consumer, it's a very fashion-driven market. That's quite a big one to go after. It's big bucks, big money. But again, you can start small in the niche. I would find a niche, and this is my personal view, I would find somewhere where you can make a real difference. There's a why. Is that, why would I buy this product? Find a real where you can add the most value to an end consumer. And that's where you'll find the path of least resistance. You've got to start thinking now about you and your pattern and your house, all the hard work and pain, the blood, sweat, and tears, the rows, blah, 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 and start thinking about who is the customer who is most likely to buy this product and connect with them.
Take Piers with you, or you can take somebody else.